Okay, so we will be modeling a teapot. So anytime you model anything at all, you always need to find a image reference. So this particular image reference that I use, I just do a general search on a teapot. I just search teapot classic, and this is the first image that popped up. Alright, so when I click on this image, now rather than clicking on it directly, I will right mouse click and open it in a new tab or new image tab, and then I will download the image. Now sometimes when you save the image, you save it as a WebP. Now I try to avoid using the WebP image format because if you use Maya, you know that Maya doesn't read the WebP format. So I'll have to convert it into a JPEG. But some of the image, when you click Save Image As, it will not allow you to save as any image other than WebP. So I recommend that you guys install this add-on called Save Image Type. Save Image as Type. It is an add-on, right, for Chrome, for Edge, for all the browsers. Right, so anyway, the lucky thing is this image is already perfectly square. I don't have to do anything with it. So I right mouse click and I saved it already. I saved this image into my source images folder in my project folder already. And I found another similar image, but this one I'm just going to use it as a visual reference. So as usual, the first thing I want to do is I want to bring in this image, and it happens to have 894 by 894 resolution already, so I don't have to do any change to it. So the first thing you do is you go on to your Maya, hold down the Shift and right mouse click and create a plane. And this plane, right, we do not want so many subdivisions, so go over to your channel box, click on the inputs, then click on the subdivisions width and hold down the Shift and click on the subdivision height. Move your cursor here, middle mouse click and slide it to the left until it becomes 1 by 1 by 1. Then repeating the same thing again, left mouse click on width, holding down the Shift, left mouse click on height, and middle mouse click on the empty space here and slide it until it fills up the entire grid space. Next, right mouse click and assign favorite material. We're just going to jump straight to surface shader, and we're going to bring in the image. So click on the surface shader tab here, click on out color, checker button here, and click on File in the menu. Then click on the folder, and if you set your project properly, you should be able to find the teapot. Now when I save the image, I renamed it as Classic Teapot so I can locate it easily, and then click on Open. Now press number 6 in your viewport and you should be able to see your teapot. Now the teapot is pointing towards the left direction, so I need to reorient this so that this is the side view of my right view. So since I only got a side view, I'm just going to use this side view alone. It should be sufficient for me to model this. So press E to rotate, holding down the J to snap rotate, rotate this 90 degrees. Okay, and then holding down the J again, but this time grabbing the Y axis, J, and then rotate it 90 degrees like that. Okay, and then press W to go to move. We're going to grab the red arrowhead and push it behind the grid line, like so. Okay, now we're going to switch over to the right view. So press and hold your space bar, left mouse click on Maya, and slide to right view. Okay, we are going to align the image until the base is touching the thicker grid line here. So I'm just going to position this until I roughly get the position, the center position of the teapot. So I want the cover, right, to cut right in the center, roughly around here. Okay, so now I want to press my space bar, left mouse click on Maya, and go back to perspective view. Now I'm going to lock this reference. So go over to channel box, then click on the layers, the 4th button here. With this selected, just click on this button here, and then we're just going to rename this as reference, and then save. And then the 3rd button here, the 3rd empty button here, the box over here, click on it until it becomes couple of times until it becomes R, so that now I cannot select it anymore. And now we can start to do our model. So first we need to create the body of our teapot, and the closest primitive that we can use for our teapot is of course the cylinder. So holding down the Shift, right mouse click, we create a cylinder. Now we want to make it easy for us to extrude out the spout and as well as the handle. So we want to make sure that one of the faces is pointing towards the z-axis. So if you look currently at the front view of the cylinder, you'll notice that there's a couple of faces. This will make the extrusion a little bit tougher. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, it will still work, but I want to make one of the faces flat here. So I will reduce the number of subdivision inside the channel box here, under inputs here, reduce it to 10. Okay, when I reduce it to 10, you notice one of the faces now is flat. Okay, I can actually show it here. Now it's 90 degrees flat, pointing here, so that I can extrude out the spout later on, as well as the handle. Then obviously, I need several subdivisions to create the cover. I mean the opening on the teapot, and then the base as well. So I need minimum at least 3 subdivisions for the height. So left click on the height, move your cursor here, middle mouse click and slide to the right until you see my cylinder has 3 subdivisions. Actually, on hindsight, I think 3 is not enough. I think I want to add 1 more. 4, I think 4 makes more sense. Okay, it gives me more flexibility. Alright, 4 is good. Okay, now you will notice that the size of my cylinder is not the same as my reference. So I want to increase the radius and the height as well. So actually you can select both, holding down Control and select both of these, and middle mouse click, and then we can increase the diameter until it's roughly the shape of our reference. Okay, next I want to apply a transparent material to this rather than using X-ray. You can use X-ray if you want. You can go to X-ray if you can view this, but I prefer to use my special material. Let's see, 6, and then turn off my X-ray. I'm going to press Alt 5 to turn on my wireframe unshaded. Okay, so right mouse click on the cylinder, assign a favorite material, choose Lambert, and then click on the Lambert section here. I'm going to rename this, call this model matte, and then change the color. Then after that, change the transparency, about 50%. Okay, so this will give me enough transparency, right, to view through the teapot. So now I'm going to move the cylinder up. You can see that the width is still not enough. Good thing is I can go back to my channel box to input here, and I can increase the radius until it roughly matches the diameter of the teapot. Height as well, click on the height and middle mouse click here until it roughly matches the size of my teapot. Okay, once I'm done, I can press W and move this up. Okay, and I think our shape is roughly there now. Okay, now you can see that the teapot, right, is tapered inwards from the top and the bottom. So you can do it, you can scale the top and bottom down a couple of ways. You can select the top faces and the bottom faces, and then scale that at the same time. So I want to show you this selection method. Right mouse click on it, go to vertex. Okay, select the top vertex. I think my soft selection, is it on? Let me press. Okay, just now my soft selection was on, so press B to turn it off. Holding down the shift and select the bottom vertex as well. So now the top and bottom vertices are selected. Move your cursor over one of the selected vertices, hold down to Control, right mouse click and hold, and then convert the selection to faces to faces. Now the top and bottom faces are selected. Then press R to go to scale. Then hold down to Control key, grab the green cube and then scale it inwards. So now we got this circular shape. Now, if you find that it's a bit hard to judge like how much you should scale in, you can change your Maya view into 2 split views so that one of the views is looking at the right side. So I'm going to change this view to the right view. So press the space bar, left mouse click, change to right view, press number 6 to turn on. And we have a almost perfect match for the size of this teapot. Okay, so the basic shape is there now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to extrude out the spout. Alright, so to extrude out the spout, we're going to look for the front. Okay, these 2 faces here. Actually, these 2 faces here will be good enough to form the spout. Alright, so I'm going to extrude one side here. So press W, okay, to move, okay, and you can hold down the shift and extrude a small section outwards. Then press R to go to scale and uniformly scale it inwards like this. Okay, and then press W again and you can pull it out slightly, so until it matches the position of where this spout is at. Okay, now before we continue, I want to show you a tool that is, we want to reorient these two faces so that they form a circle. So that's why we're going to use this tool called circularize. So circularize the two selected faces. So when you click on circularize, you can activate it also by holding down the shift right mouse click, and you can find the tool here, circularize components. When you apply a circularize, you will realize that there is a slight tilt in the front view. Let me go over to the front view and you can see. Now it's tilted slightly. It has become like a hexagon. Right, so you can use the twist, all right, to adjust until it is completely flat, like that. All right, so once we've done that, we can click away. So now we can continue to select these two faces. Okay, let's go back to perspective view. And then we're going to extrude it out. So press W, right, and then holding down the shift, and then we can extrude one section here. Press E to rotate, and rotate slightly. And now you notice that the spout is a bit too big. You can press R to scale, and scale it down slightly like that. Uniformly scale. And then holding down to, press W to activate move again. And then holding down the shift, and then extrude another section like that. Alright, and then holding down the shift again, and then we extrude another section. So now we have our T-spout coming out. So I'm going to rotate this until it matches the orientation of my reference. And at the same time, you can switch over to vertex mode and gently move the vertices until it matches the reference like that. Okay, you don't have to extrude too many, okay, because later when we subdivide this, it's going to be nice and smooth. This whole group, right, I can uniformly scale it up a bit some more. This one, press W to move. I can move this thing out like that. This one, I can move it out like this. So essentially our low resolution spout is done. Okay, but if we look back at our reference here, this particular reference that I downloaded, you notice that it tapers inwards until it becomes this shape. Okay, so I want to try to follow this as closely as possible. So you can see here the spout here is a bit too wide, so I will select these two faces here and I will scale them uniformly down first. Select these two, scale it uniformly down, and maybe this edge loop here, you can go to edge. Since this follows a loop, you can just double click and it will be selected, and then you can scale it down slightly like that. Yeah, and then maybe this one, I need to scale this one up a little bit more. Okay, so we have our T-spout now done. Now let's do the handle. Okay, so let me maximize the 3D view here. Now for the handle, right, we can extrude it out from this top face and this bottom face. So right mouse click, go over to this face here, and shift select the bottom face as well. And we can press Ctrl E to extrude. And then we are going to do a inset. So it's the same thing as extrude a little bit and then scale it inwards. So while we're in extrude mode, hold on to your Control and grab the blue cube and let it inset inwards like that. Then after that, press or grab the blue arrowhead and pull it out slightly like this. Now please be careful, a lot of students I see, not only this class and then all the beginners, they will sometimes extrude and then they forget and then keep extruding again. Then they have multiple extrusions sitting on the same face. So please be careful when you do that. Okay, I can press number 3 and then see what it looks like. So far so good, looks okay. Press number 1, go back to divided mode again. And we are going to scale this particular face, make it smaller. Press R to scale and scale it until it's almost as wide as my the teapot handle here. Then we can go to my, actually we have my side view here already. Use the side view here to adjust the position of the face. So press W to move, and then grab the face and then put it here. Then good. Now we're following the shape here. Now this one is a little bit tricky. Okay, this one I need the face to come up a little bit more. So I will have to manually grab these vertices and push it up slightly, and then this particular vertices pull it up manually like this. Okay, so until the face right now looks very it's being pushed up like that. And right now, if I select this face, you see that the bottom face is a bit too wide. I will use the scale tool and then scale it, make it narrower. Okay, until they are about the same width. Right, this face and the bottom face are about the same width. Okay, so next we can continue to extrude following our reference. We will start from the bottom first. Okay, holding down the shift. Okay, I press W already to go to move. Holding down the shift, then extrude one section here. Then press E to rotate. Press R and then scale uniformly until it forms this shape. Okay, then press W again to move. And then holding down the shift and then extrude another section. And then this particular face, I want to rotate it until it is almost pointing up like that. Okay, the bottom part here is okay already. Now I'll go over to this face, select the top face, then come over here, press W to go to move, holding down the shift and extrude one small section here. Press R to scale this down. Rotate it a bit. Okay, press W again to move, holding down the shift and then extrude another section. Press E to rotate, then grab and then rotate it. Okay, and actually, right, we can perform the bridging already. So now, to connect the two faces, you need to make sure that this face and this face, right, for bridging to work, they must be part of the same object. Now we have the face almost facing each other. Select both of them, shift select both of them. Okay, holding down the shift, right mouse click, and then choose the bridge faces tool. And then we have our faces bridged together. Alright, so right now here, we will notice that it doesn't really match. Okay, and also, actually, let me go back to the bridge again. Inside my bridge, right, there is an option that allows me to add one more division. So maybe I want to add 2 divisions here. So go to 1, 2. Okay, and then we can see some problems here. Our face, right, is actually being twisted, right, like that. So we can fix it by adjusting the twist. Okay, so let's see, we twist it the other direction until we get it to match. Okay, it seems that the twist, okay, I think it could be offset. Let me try this. Offset, yeah. So I use the offset and then I managed to fix. Actually, a twist, right, no need to twist. We go back to 0. Okay, so now the connection works. So this, sometimes, I mean, when you bridge, right, you will have these twisting faces going on. Then you just adjust these values until they bridge properly. Alright, so now I fixed this already. I can go over to edge mode, double click on this edge, press W and move it here. Double click to select this edge loop and then move it here. So now my teapot handle is done. Okay, let me maximize my view. Okay, so next we want to create the opening. So the opening, right, we're going to do the same thing again. Go over to vertex mode, select this single vertex, holding down the control right mouse click to faces. So I don't have to manually select all the faces. Then holding down the shift, I'm going to extrude one section here like that. I'm going to switch back to my right view very quickly and then check how much I've extruded. Okay, I think the top part, all these faces need to go down a little bit more. So go to vertex mode and then bring it down roughly around here. And I think I can scale this up as well. So press R to scale, grab the bottom square here and then uniform scale it until you match the opening size. Okay, go back to perspective view. So now we want to create an edge here. But first, we want to detach this top part here. So if we go over to face selection mode, okay, the previous faces are still selected. We want to detach this group of selected faces. So we're going to use the detach element or extract faces. Okay, use the extract faces. So when you say extract faces, what happens is that this face right will now be separate. Okay, let me undo that. Okay, this face right will now be separate from the rest of the model. It still belongs, if I'm not mistaken, right, actually now it becomes a separate element as well, separate object. And you can see over the outliner here. So for this, I think I want to remodel this to form the cover. So before I do the cover, let's go and work on the edge first. So I'm going to temporarily switch the material. So right mouse click on the object, go to material attributes, then go under material attributes again, then go over to reduce the transparency. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to create a thickness on the edge here. So you can do this by moving your cursor over the opening, double click on it, then shift right mouse click and extrude edge. Push in the blue arrow, and then we want to create another edge inside, so you can press G to repeat the extrude again, or press Ctrl E again. Then we're going to extrude it inwards like that, so that we have a rim like this. Okay, when I press number 3. Okay, so now let's focus on the top part here. So let's go back to object mode. So we extracted the top to become a separate object, but how do we convert it to look like this cone over here? Well, first, we have a lot of triangular faces here. So we need to first select all the faces. Okay, select all the faces, and then extrude. Okay, and then holding down the control, and then extrude it inwards. Then after that, push it up a little bit. Okay, then you can repeat again, extrude, then extrude inwards again, then push it up again. Okay, you can keep on doing this several times. Okay, I'm going to press G to extrude, repeat last command rather, then holding down the control and then scale it inwards again. So this method is a little bit different than what I showed in the other class. Okay, so just by pushing it out, we have our cover already. Okay, so I'm going to move my cover down so that it roughly is the same distance from the reference like that. Okay, and the outer edge, I'm going to double click and scale it inwards like that. And then I'm going to extrude the edge downwards so that it will form. And also this one, you have to be very careful. Make sure you press W, or you can click on a switch, then push down the edge. It's a bit hard to see, but I'm extruding the extra edge below like that. Okay, now I want to form the knob. Alright, so for the knob, same thing again, go to vertex mode, select the central vertex, holding down the control, right mouse click and hold, then move your cursor down to faces. Okay, and then extrude again. Shift right mouse click, extrude, or Control E, then extrude one small portion here like that. Okay, and then press G again to repeat extrude, then extrude another section like that. Then press G again and then extrude another small section, but this time we're going to expand it outwards like this. Okay, then press G again, extrude another small section. Then press G again, extrude another small section. Okay, and then press R to scale it inwards. So now we have our handle. Okay, let's go and change the shape until it roughly matches our design. So you can go to edge mode, double click, press W to move, and move this up slightly. Double click and then move this up slightly. Okay, I can press number 3 to see what it looks like, and it's actually very close to the design. So I think I will stop for the cover. The cover is done. Now let's look at the body. Right mouse click to go back to object mode, select the main body and press number 3. Okay, Teapot looks good. However, our spout, okay, our spout is covered, so we need to open it up. So to open it up, we just need to select these two faces. Let's go back to level 1. So I press 1, and we are going to extrude inwards. So Control E, okay, and then holding down Control, and then grab the blue cube and then push it inwards. Alright, and then after that, okay, I'm going to press 4 to go to wireframe, then press number 3, press, go to the right view rather. Okay, so I already extruded one section, so I can press W, and then I can push Okay, unfortunately, I actually wanted to extrude another section inwards. Okay, so let's go back to my right view again. Okay, holding down the shift and extrude one section inwards like that. Then while the face is still being selected, you can delete them away. Alright, we don't need the faces here, we can delete them away. So now if I go back to shaded view, and if I press number 3, we have our teapot spout done. Now if you want to be really accurate, right, if you take a look at the T-spout, it has this almost a heart shape. Okay, so let's say if you are nitpicky about this, we can go and reshape this so it looks more like a heart shape. So I think I need to grab this face here, press R, and then scale it towards here like that, so that it has a more of a heart shape. And then maybe this one, I will push this forward, okay, just to get it close to the reference. And maybe go to the edge mode here, this edge here, this edge here. Now I'm in mode 2, and scale inwards like that. Okay, good. But if you take a look at my subdivided model, okay, without the, you notice that the edge, right, is very thin. Okay, so in order to give it a bit more definition, all right, we want to bevel these two edges here. You can do it a couple of ways. Actually, you can do it this way. You can double click to select this edge here. See, this is a continuous edge. Holding down the shift, double click to select the outer edge. Then press Ctrl B and give it 2 segments. Reduce the number of fractions. Actually, 1 segment should be good enough. Yeah. Now, if you press number 3 now, you can see that now the lip is much more defined, like that. See that? Okay, same thing for the corners of the opening here. All right, so I can go to level 1, go over to the edge, double click. Okay, go over the edge here, edge, double click. Then you can see the whole edge is selected. Then holding down the shift and double click, so now the outer edge is selected. Then we can press Ctrl B and then reduce the fraction. And then we press number 3, and you can see now our edge, right, is much more well defined. We are still missing out on the bottom here. You can look at the bottom here, it is very smooth. If you put this teapot down, it's going to tumble and spill the tea. So we don't want that to happen. So we want to extrude the bottom face so that it's got a flat bottom. So go over to vertex, select the bottom vertex. Okay, holding down Control right mouse click to faces. And these are the faces we want to extrude. So you can press move. Okay, press W to move, holding down the shift and extrude out one section. Okay, and you want it to be tighter, we can extrude another section like that. And then we can use scale, use non-uniform scale, and then scale it outwards. Okay, so now we have a flat base. Okay, if you want your base to be really tight, you can do it this way. You can select, go to face section mode, double click to select this ring face here, and apply another bevel. Okay, and then reduce the fraction. This fraction is a bit too much. Okay, and then one segment is good enough. So now the bottom is really tight. Okay, so we've got a nice flat bottom. Okay, it's a little bit different than this one, but I think this design still will work. Okay, so you can see here it's a little bit not really following the design, right? So you can continue to tweak this by going to vertex mode and move it until it matches the reference. Okay. And I think that's pretty much it. So the next thing that is left to do is to clean up this model. Let's go over to the edit history. So you can see so much edit history that I've done to this model for the cover. We will delete the history. So the shortcut key is Alt-Shift-D. Then the bottom part is Alt-Shift-D as well. And you can see that because I detached them both from the original object, right, you can still see that they are part of the original cylinder. So I'm going to get them out from this parent relationship or this group relationship. So shift select them in the outliner, middle mouse click and drag them out. So this will be the teapot body. Actually doesn't really matter because I'm going to combine both of them together. So let's get rid of this. And we're going to combine these two together. So select both of them, then apply a mesh combine. You can do the same thing here, shift right mouse click and choose combine. Right, I need to be in object mode, shift right mouse click and combine here. So once it's combined, you can see that now we have a single object. I'm going to delete away the history again, Alt Shift D. Okay, and then I'm going to rename the combined object Teapot. And also, I want to move the pivot point to the bottom here. So press D, then move it until the vertex is highlighted, left mouse click, then right mouse click on the pivot and reset the orientation. Then you are done. Press D again to get out and your teapot is complete. Go ahead and save this teapot. So I'm going to call this teapot D2. And we are going to open up our temple scene, the empty temple scene, the one which we left off, and we're going to bring the teapot into this scene. So go ahead and click on File, Import, Teapot D2. We don't need our reference anymore. We can delete away this. Right mouse click and delete away the layer, delete away the reference. Right now, teapot is too big. So since we put the pivot point at the bottom already, we can just scale it down. Okay, we're going to move this up a bit so it's sticking onto the scene. So, alright, so we're going to create the temple for the teapot. Okay, so once you're done, you save this, save scene as temple teapot. This one is D2 and save. Okay, so you will not submit this for the exercise because we still want to do something to the teapot later on. So what I want all of you to do right now is to model out this teapot, okay, using what I demonstrated. Okay, so I will stop recording now.